Hello student, so welcome to biology class form 5. We're going to start chapter 1, organization of plant tissues and growth, subtopic 1.1 and 1.2 only for this video. The first one is organizations of plant tissue and the second one is meristematic tissue and growth. Let all that you do be done in love. 1 Corinthians 16 verse 14. Objectives. The first one, communicate. You are able to communicate about the type of plant tissue and its main function. Second objective is to identify the zone of cell growth in plant. Okay, the first one, organizations of plant tissue. Okay, this is plant tissue. Plant tissue consists of two types of tissue, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Before that, I'm sorry, this the quality of this video is not very good. Okay, since I use the textbook, English textbook for form 5 is not available yet. Okay, biology form 5 for English, DLP not available yet. So this is the textbook that available for chapter 1 only, and the quality is not very good. They scan the textbook. Okay, so sorry. So plant tissue consists of, we continue, plant tissue consists of meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Okay, meristematic tissue divided again into apical meristematic tissue and lateral meristematic tissue. And permanent tissue, there are three types of permanent tissue: epidermal tissue, ground tissue and vascular tissue. Ground tissue consists of parenchyma tissue, collenchyma tissue, sclerenchyma tissue, and vascular tissue, of course, xylem and phloem tissues. Okay, you should remember this one. So we go one by one. The permanent tissue first. Permanent tissue consists of epidermal, ground, and vascular tissue. Okay. Okay. This is the clearer diagram, but this one is Malay version lah. Okay, Malay version. Okay, so we go to types of permanent tissue. Types of permanent tissue, we have the first type is epidermal tissue. Epidermal tissue is the tissue layer at the outmost surface of stem, leaves, and roots. Okay, dia adalah bahagian lapisan paling atas. Okay, epidermal cell wall that exposed to the air have a waxy and waterproof layer called cuticle. Okay, so yang exposed to the air, dia ada cuticle lah. Okay, so kenapa ada cuticle? Because the cuticle, we know dia punya function adalah to reduce the water loss during evaporation, in transpiration. Okay, also to protect the leaf from mechanical injuries and also pathogen. So nama pun epidermal tissue ini adalah dia punya lapisan paling atas. Alright. So there are modified epidermal cell according to their function. Okay, modified epidermal cells. First one is guard cell. Guard cells, kita tahu, guard cells lah yang akan control the closing and opening of the stomata, kan? Okay, and then dia juga ada root hair cells. Root hair cells ini will increase the surface area of the root so that the water and mineral absorptions itu more efficient. Alright. The second one, Okay, so this is the Malay version. Okay, the Malay version. You can check your digital textbook if you have download the Malay version one, because the English version is not available yet. Okay, so epidermal tissue form the outer protective covering of herbaceous plant, tumbuhan herba, okay, and modified in root, stem, and leaves. Exposed epidermal cells are covered with waxy cuticle so that the loss of water is minimized lah during transpiration. Okay, epidermal cells in roots have root hairs, and lower leaf epidermal cells have guard cells and stomata. Okay, itu adalah dia punya modified types of epidermal cell. Okay, this is the second types. Okay, the second types. Okay, second types of permanent tissue. Okay, ground tissue. Ground tissue dia bahagi lagi kepada tiga, iaitu parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So parenchyma tissue are simplest living cells and do not undergo differentiation. Okay, tidak mengalami differentiation. They have thinner cell wall. Parenchyma tissues are always in a turgid state to provide support and maintain the shape of herbaceous plant. These types of tissue involve in photosynthesis and help in storage of starch and sugar, and involve also in gases exchange. These types of tissue involve in the repair and regenerations of plant tissue as well as in the vascular system. Second one, collenchyma tissue. Collenchyma tissues are made of living cells which mature into cells that are flexible. Cell walls have cell walls. The cell walls are made of pectin and hemicellulose, and the cell walls are thicker than the parenchyma tissue. Okay, their function is to provide the mechanical support and elasticity to plants. Okay, sclerenchyma tissue consists of dead cells that when they are matured, the cell will die. Okay, consists of dead cell lah, so become tissue. So these tissue cell walls, the walls are the thickest among these three types. This one dia punya wall paling tebal to provide support and mechanical strength to the parts of matured plant. These tissues also help in the transport of water and nutrients in plants. Okay, so this is the Malay one. So ground tissue forms the bark of the plant. Ground tissue contains parenchyma cells which are thin wall and capable of photosynthesis when they contain chloroplast. Collenchyma thicker wall, flexible. Sclerenchyma non-living cell. Okay, and then with secondary walls, dan dia punya walls adalah the thickest among the three. Alright, the third one, okay, permanent tissue. The third types of permanent tissue adalah vascular tissue. So remember, bila kamu sebut vascular tissue, ingat xylem dengan phloem. So remember what is xylem and what is phloem. Xylem is made up of dead cells without the cytoplasm. The cell wall of xylem contain lignin. Consists of xylem vessels that are elongated, hollow, and connected to each other from its roots to the leaves. This enables xylem to transport water and mineral salt to all parts of the plant. So remember, the function is to transport water and mineral salt. Phloem, made up of companion cells and sieve tubes. Living cells, dia terdiri daripada living cells. The sieve tubes, with the presence of cytoplasm. Ini tiada cytoplasm, di sini ada cytoplasm. So sieve tubes do not have organelles. such as nucleus and ribosome, and they decompose at maturity stage. Phloem consists of sieve tubes arranged from end to end, forming elongated and continuous tube structures. Phloem transports sugars produced from the photosynthesis from the leaves to storage organs such as roots, fruits, and tubers. So ini dia transport apa? Product of the photosynthesis. Food lah kan. This one dia transport water and mineral salt. Alright, this is the Malay version. Okay, second one, meristematic tissues and growth. Okay, tadi itu permanent tissue, so this is meristematic tissues. Okay, so meristematic tissues divided into apical meristem tissue and lateral meristematic tissue. Okay, apical meristem tissues are located at the tips of plant shoots and roots. Okay, plant shoots and roots, this one, apical meristem, shoot, and root apical meristem. Itu adalah apical meristem. Manakala lateral meristematic tissue, okay, dia di stem. Dia consist of vascular cambium dan juga cork cambium. Okay, remember dia punya location. Vascular cambium and cork cambium. This one is a lateral meristematic tissue, and this one is apical meristematic tissue for shoot, and this one is apical meristematic tissue in root. Okay, zone of cell growth. The tips of shoots and tips of roots can be divided into 3 zones of cell growth, yaitu zone of cell division, zone of cell elongation, and zone of cell differentiation. Okay, the growth that happen in these 3 zones adalah primary growth. Okay, so this one, shoot tip. Okay, shoot tip. So bila kita lihat dia detail, so di sini shoot apical meristem here, and this is the leaf primordium. Here is the zone of cell division. Here is the zone of cell elongation. Iaitu ada vascular tissue start to form. You know what is vascular tissue, right? The xylem and the phloem start to form here. Zone of cell differentiation, barulah form sudah betul-betul. The xylem, phloem, cortex, epidermis. Sebab di sinilah cell differentiation itu berlaku, dan di sini adalah tissue yang matang sudah, mature tissue. Okay, so this one is more clearer. Zone of cell division, zone of cell elongation, zone of cell differentiation, mature tissue. This one is apical meristem, shoot apical meristem, shoot primordium. So here the vascular tissue start to form, and here is xylem, phloem, the cortex, and the epidermis. And this is for root. Okay, this is for root. Di sini root kan dia ke bawah, so yang di atas sini adalah mature tissue. Mature tissue, dia terbalik lah daripada shoot. So we start from here lah. We start from here. This one is root cap. Here is the zone of cell division, root apical meristem here. Here is the zone of cell elongation. So here vascular tissue will start to form. Here is the zone of cell differentiation. So ada sudah xylem, phloem, root hairs, cortex semua. So yang di sini adalah mature tissue. Okay. So ini lebih jelas lah. So this one is root cap. The apical meristems of the root. Zone of cell, what is that? Cell division, sorry. Here is zone of cell elongation, zone of cell differentiation, and here is the mature tissue. Okay, so we want to differentiate between the zone of cell division, elongation, and differentiation. Okay, this slide is not clear. Okay, the first one, zone of cell division. The zone of cell division takes place at the apical meristems, which consists of actively dividing meristem cells through mitosis. So, cell division itu berlaku di mana? Di apical meristem, di mana sel itu aktif untuk membahagi melalui mitosis. So, bila aktif membahagi melalui mitosis, the number of cell will increase. So, when the cell number increase, so itu akan menyebabkan the elongations of the stem. Okay? So, when new cells are forming, the cell formed previously pushed to the zone of elongation. Begitulah yang berlaku. Okay? So, at the zone of cell elongation, dia consists of cell that are increasing in size. Ingat elongation dia increasing in size. Dalam cell division tadi dia actively dividing through mitosis. So the number of cell increase. Here the size yang increasing. Why increase? Because of the water diffusion by osmosis and also the absorptions of nutrient into the cell. Stored in the vacuole. Sebab itu dia punya size increase. Small vacuoles fuse to form a large vacuole. So this process of fusing vacuole into large vacuole we call as vacuolation. The diffused water exerts pressure against the cell wall, which pushes, elongates, and widens the cell. So di sini inilah yang berlaku di zone of cell elongation. How about in zone of cell differentiation? The zone of cell differentiation consists of differentiating cell that differentiate once they have reached their maximum size. Okay, so bila sudah reach the maximum size, sekarang sel itu berada di zone of cell differentiation, di mana mereka akan differentiating apabila mereka sudah reach the maximum size. The cells differentiate to form permanent tissue, such as epidermis, cortex, xylem, and phloem. The cells change their shapes and structure to become specialized cells with specific function. For example, epidermal cells in leaves differentiate and form guard cells that control the opening and closing of stomata. Other than that, epidermal cells in roots differentiate and form root hair cells. Maksudnya di sini, zone of cell differentiation, the cell modified. Okay, dia differentiate, dia modified according to dia punya function. Alright. For example, guard cell. Function dia untuk control the opening and closing of the stomata. So here, meristem cell in zone of cell division. Okay. This is small vacuole, cytoplasm, nucleus, cell wall. Meristematic cell. Zone of elongation, what happened? The small vacuole will fuse together to form a large vacuole. Ini kita panggil vacuolation. Okay, so now the vacuole become large. So ini yang berlaku di zone of cell elongation. The size become larger. Okay, So this one is more clearer. So itu sahaja. So kita akan sambung lagi pada kelas yang seterusnya. Okay, let all that you do be done in love. 1 Corinthians 16 verse 14. Thank you class, and don't forget to do the assignment. Alright, thank you.